You talking to me? It's deep dive time. The year is 1976. A mentally unstable veteran works as a nighttime taxi driver in New York City, where the perceived decadence and sleaze fuels his urge for violent action by attempting to liberate a presidential campaign worker, an underage prostitute. Today we deep dive Martin Scorsese's critically acclaimed Taxi Driver.
Taxi Driver.
Jordan, how was your recent viewing of Taxi Driver?
Do you want the truth?
The whole truth and nothing but the truth.
So help me God. Nah. It was. I feel like I'm going against the grain with it because obviously it's a really classic, significant, and well-loved film. But I honestly, genuinely thought it was shite.
Bash.
Yep.
What didn't you like about?
I've got a long list if you want to hear it.
Well, I'm sure we'll get to the list. But
yes.
In a roundabout way, is it just not your kind of movie, or what?
No, I've seen other films that like a similar kind of vein, like Falling Down, for example, is kind of similar. Just about a normal guy that just one day loses it and just goes around kind of wreaking havoc. This is a wee bit different. It tries to be a bit more serious than Falling Down. Falling Down was serious enough, but this one it's like it's trying a real character study, and it just fell flat on its fanny for me.
I did think it was a bit of a character study. That's exactly what I got for the movie. Like, I was like, right, so it's more set on the actual character himself and his journey, right? But there's just, for me, it's like, did E.T.'s pals just like drop him off on Earth and then bugger off? And he's like, right, cool, so I'm gonna go and buy popcorn at a porno flick.
Ah, damn it. Excuse me. That's the obligatory Jordan dropping something during the podcast.
Damn, Squire. You need to get that thing fucking hooked up to the wall.
I know, I really do.
For those of you at home that don't know what's going on right now, Jordan has just dropped his telecommunications device.
I know what you mean though about the... Yes, we're back. I know what you mean about the just getting dropped off. It was like a man-child. It was like fucking Starman or something.
Yeah, it's like he didn't understand what the hell Earth was.
He didn't understand anything about how to behave socially. I mean,
I spent the whole movie kind of talking like this, and I didn't feel like I could even get into the character, and it's just really bland and shitty.
I've got so much to say about it, but I'll let it happen organically.
What really got me, obviously, it's just early on in the movie, is first off, if you've got nothing to do, right, on a Friday night or whatever, why would you go to a screening of a porn movie with other fucking dirty stinking men jacking off, right? But when I saw that scene where he heads into the porn movie in a cinema with old men, he obviously tries to chat up the woman who clearly gets chat up by every guy that goes in there, right? She's having none of it, so he fails and is like, right, okay, give me a pack of cigarettes and whatever, right? He decides to buy shit. I'm like, why do they even sell anything other than Kleenex at a fucking porn screening? Like, why? Why would you... Yeah, I'll have some popcorn, because that'll go good with the fucking semen.
The thing is, what you need to remember there is, like, porn theatres did used to be quite big business, because people didn't have home video, and the internet certainly didn't about. So, if you wanted to watch people fucking, you had to go to the porn theatre, and that was what you did. In fact, I'm not calling it a porn theatre. I'm going to call it the Scud Cinema.
Aye, it's something like that.
Sounds more Scottish. Scud Cinema.
Yeah, and here's another thing briefly on the whole porn cinema, right? And again, backs up the theory that E.T.'s family probably dropped him off the same time they dropped bloody E.T. off, right?
I know what you're going to say.
He takes a woman on a date to a fucking porn theatre and wonders why she fucked off.
Aye. It's like... It's just a big fucking red flag right there. The thing is, that was one of the issues I had, was why she even had any notion for liking him at all anyway, because when the first time she sees him, he's staring at her through the window, right? Creepy bastard, right? And then he comes in, he's like, hey, I'm looking for a job, you know? And she's like, so what do you like about this candidate? I can't remember his name. And he's like, I don't really know much about politics, you know? It's like, well, fuck you doing in this office? That'd be the correct response, not, I find you kind of interesting. It was a bullshit conversation, and
it's definitely a red flag. Like, if there are any profiles on what to watch out for, a stalker or a madman, right? He fits every single one, and she can see that clearly, as clear as day, right? That movie, as much as it is a bit of a character study, right, and critically acclaimed, there's just for me there was too much that really had me slapping my head, right. And one, actually, we'll talk about the ending. Obviously, it came out like in the 70s. It was 1970s. So if you've not seen it, go and watch it and then come back to this bloody podcast, right? But another strange thing for me, right at the end, he goes to the getaway area and he starts shooting everybody up, right? He shoots Harvey Keitel, then the old man that owns the housing estate where all the prostitutes, then a random guy that looks like he was in My Girl, right? You know that scene with the bus where the guy rocks up like he's from the 70s. So he starts killing everybody, gets shot in the neck, lies down, does all the crazy stuff with a gun signal to his head for the copper, and then in the papers they call him a hero. Like, wait a minute, what the fuck?
The ending totally sat fucking funny with me. I mean, the guy for some reason snapped, goes and kills a bunch of people, and it was premeditated. He intended to do it. He went out to do it that day, and then it gets away with it fucking scot-free. And then it's like, so, how you doing, Travis? He's like, oh, yeah, I'm doing kind of better now, you know.
So what urged you to head to the Bronx and start shooting everybody up?
Mate, there was zero realism in that. The film, he should have just died in that chair, and the film should have just fucking ended. That would have been the best way to end it.
I thought that. Even my wife went, because she kind of jumped in and out of the movie, right? But she'd come back for obviously us to watch this movie, to see me watching the end of it, and even she was surprised. Oh, he's alive. Oh, he's back out in his cab. And here's another fucked up thing. Mind that guy that took you to the porno for your first date that you didn't want to talk to again and came in and actually gave you abuse in your place of work? Yeah. Aye, well, he went mental and killed everybody. What a guy. What? She then decides that, yeah, you know what, he's alright. Wait a fucking minute. Like, what?
Mate, it's almost like a comedy when you think about what actually happened in it.
Yeah.
Like, the thing is about the film that there was actually characters that I would have liked to see more of. Like, I found Travis Bickle completely unrelatable and unrealistic. I couldn't get into the character at all. After that commando scene, you know, where he's getting all kind of sorted out with all his weapons, and he goes out to he goes out to that rally thing and talks to the Secret Service guy. Honestly, he looked like somebody that hangs about on the fucking waltzers. That's what it looked like.
Yeah. And you know, that's another thing that just doesn't sit right. If you're a Secret Service guy and that guy comes up to you and starts asking you about guns and service, like, you're not going to say, here, give me your number, because you seem like the kind of guy I want working for the Secret Service.
Well, the thing is that, like, that I was thinking that at the time as well, but then immediately as he started walking away, the Secret Service guy signalled to the other boys, go and get this guy. Whereas he could have just fucking tackled him at the time. Do you know what I mean? There was no need for him to say, yeah, give me your details, I'll give you a phone. And he gives him that stupid look.
Yeah.
Do you know who he reminded me of through that whole film?
Who?
Tobey Maguire.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know what it was. I hate Tobey Maguire. I've got a few things I want to go through here, right? So, he's supposed to be 26. First fucking problem. The guy's like 97, right? The music in the film made me want to rip my pubes out. That was horrific. It was. I know it was the 70s and you always get a lot of saxophone music, but it was just so constant and actually inappropriate. Like, it was playing this intense trumpet and saxophone music early on in the film where nothing's actually happened yet. He's like sorting through his coat hangers and shit, and it's like right, what's intense about this scene, right? That's another one. The intensity of the music was totally premature. The film didn't give us time to actually get into his head. Like, it didn't give us time to see his level-headed side properly, so you could kind of appreciate his descent into madness. There was no real reason for his descent into madness. The only thing I can really think of is PTSD, which they never fucking knew about in the 1970s, so it wasn't that. I don't understand why he went to that mental state. Like I said, I'd like to have seen more of Peter Boyle's character, and like Peter Boyle, you know who Peter Boyle is?
The guy in Taxi Driver.
He's the guy that plays Raymond's dad and Everybody Loves Raymond. You know, the guy
Yeah.
with the baldy.
Yeah.
I'd like to see more of him. And actually, see the guy that worked with Sybil Shepherd in that candidate office?
Yes, he was good.
Albert Brooks. He was good. I would love to have seen more of him. He was a kind of interesting character. And
He reminds me of a guy in The Simpsons. He reminds me of a Simpsons character.
Disco Stew.
I can't remember what one it was. He was like, "Now you gotta come and take your burgers, eh?" One of those kind of guys. But he was a caricature of like a 70s, you know, what a geek that grows up.
He was funny. He seemed like he could be a real person. There was nothing about his performance actually felt like acting. I think he just seemed like a kind of genuine guy. Sybil Shepherd was, I don't know, as bland as a fucking cold bagel.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like I said, I can't figure out for the life of me why she actually started liking him.
Even more so towards the end.
Absolutely. The whole fucking Jodie Foster thing. There was literally no need for her to be that age.
Yeah.
It could have been an 18 or 19-year-old prostitute, and you would still have felt like Harvey Keitel was a proper scumbag. Or if you're going to say the prostitute's 14, use an 18 or 19-year-old actress that looks young.
And not a 17-year-old.
I mean, she was 14.
14,
when she
sorry,
filmed that.
she was 14, eh?
She was 14 when she filmed that, and you've got Harvey Keitel slinking his fucking Tommy Wiseau hair all over for the whole film. And it's just, it just felt really, really uncomfortable and needless.
Another thing as well, do you know, sorry to interrupt, right, but see, there was a scene, obviously, where Robert De Niro is sitting with Jodie Foster, he's taking it, and as she's spreading her toast with jam and then pouring sugar on it, right, and there's just a line he said that made me be like, fucking gave me a right cringe, and it was when he was like, you know, you think I'm square? And you're renting out your little pussy? I was like, oh no, you're renting out your little pussy. Nah.
Dude.
Nah, it's cringe.
Dude.
Absolute cringe. Like, really, that kind of conversation, maybe it was alright back in the 70s, but that kind of conversation between a grown man and a 14-year-old where he's talking about renting out her little pussy. Nah. For me, it's just a bit of a gross fit. And not a lot grosses me out, but that didn't feel right, because that's child.
Well, see I don't know if you remember the bit with the street drummer guy with the kind of slick back hair.
He's like, and this one's this song.
Aye. Well,
he's in a medley.
That whole film felt as dirty as his fucking hair. I don't know what it is. I couldn't get past how uncomfortable the film was. And you get films that are supposed to be uncomfortable, but then you can sit back and appreciate it. Mm-hmm. Honestly, man, I just felt like I was watching hamsters getting strangled for 2 hours.
You see, here's something though, right, to bring up. Upon reading reviews and stuff before actually deep diving into it, before watching the movie, right, it's critically acclaimed. Even Quentin Tarantino classes this as one of the top 5 all-time greatest, and I've heard him in an interview explain that it was truly phenomenal. Like, are you and I just missing the bigger picture with this movie?
No, mate, that film came out the same year as Rocky, right? And Rocky is a far superior film.
Yeah.
It's not like it's just a film of its time and you have to appreciate that it's old. And it's nothing to do with that. It is actually just a big steaming pile of poo. There's nothing. Like I said, the only things that are redeeming in it are stuff that they actually didn't utilise, like the Albert Brooks character and Peter Boyle. And actually, Jodie Foster was excellent in it, especially for a young actress. Her performance was really good, but I didn't feel like they had to use an actress that young. The shootout scene was probably the only bit that was actually good in my mind. I thought it was really, especially for the 70s, it was really kind of visceral and like, fucking hell, that guy just got his hand blown off.
And then he gets his other hand gets stabbed.
So man, your hands are screwed, man.
And you know what's funny though? See, when he takes that first shot to Harvey Keitel's gut, he just goes, ah! Falls back.
Oh, I know. It reminded me of Alan Rickman and Robin Hood. I think the film had a lot of really good ideas, like using a taxi driver. I mean, it could have been the film that did like what Halloween did for babysitting. This film could have done it for taxi drivers. Like, you never know who you're getting into the taxiway, but it just didn't feel. I couldn't relate to anything in the film at all. And like I said, I found Robert De Niro as an actor is always quite kind of monotone, but in this he's
Particularly managed.
and I think he's trying to do something with his character, and it just didn't pay off. I wouldn't even put this in his top 10 films. Honestly,
Nah, I agree with you.
it's nah. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think that I can say about it. The music at the starting credits was quite clever. I would say that although it was that really annoying kind of saxophone music, it changed from like really soft to kind of crazy sounding, then back to soft again. I was thinking, oh, that could be like his mental state kind of flipping back and forward a wee bit. But then I thought, right, that's kind of clever. I like that.
On the internet, a lot of reviews and stuff that I read, there are certain individuals that there's a hint of racism in this movie.
Fucking where?
Well, that's there's. Do you remember that part in the movie where there's like a guy, he's in the taxi, and this is the first time where I think he actually makes Robert De Niro's character think, well, maybe I should start doing something. And he's like, "Do you see that house up there? That window? You see that girl? That's my wife. She's up there. She's up there with her." And then he says the N word, and no, I don't mean nutrition.
Nutrition.
That's an N. So he says that, right, and I think the way that scene is engineered, and he says he's going to shoot his wife, he's going to kill her, and I think like, what the character's really annoyed about isn't the fact that she's cheating on him, it's the fact she's cheating on him with a black guy,
Well,
and
the thing
that's
is,
why he's going to hit her in the face.
mate, this is where you need to say, well, it was a film of its time, and there was at that time racism was still. People say it's bad now. It's no anywhere near as bad as it was back then, and there's a good chance that they thought that way. And I mean, and that's another thing. Why the fuck did Martin Scorsese shoehorn himself into that fucking? There was no need for him to be in it. He's not even an actor.
God.
He's not. I was just watching it. Like I couldn't even concentrate on on him because all I kept seeing was Martin Scorsese, Martin Scorsese, Martin Scorsese. That's Martin Scorsese, by the way. See in the back of that taxi? That's Martin Scorsese. Talking about shooting his wife in the face and that. And I thought it was a bit of a vanity thing for him. I don't know if he thought this was his masterpiece. He's certainly done a lot better since.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm honestly, man, I'm really struggling to think of anything I actually enjoyed about the film other than Albert Brooks and Peter Boyle.
Well, you see, after that scene, the first person that Robert De Niro's character shoots and kills is a black man in the store. Now, what I took from that scene wasn't that he was shot for being black. It was that he was shot for holding up a store.
Yeah.
Look at it for what it is, eh? So I disagree with the racism in regards to everybody believing that, or not everybody, certain individuals believing that there was racial. Well, there was racial tones, but
but it wasn't
a hate.
It wasn't like it was in the film and it wasn't supposed to be there. Do you know what I mean? Like when they point out things in old Disney films and you kind of go, oh, aye, that is a wee bit racist actually. But this was a case of no, this guy is basically demonstrating his racist personality, so it's supposed to be there. It's not like it was accidental racism, like fucking what's her name, Katy Perry's shoes.
God.
Have you seen this?
No.
Yeah. You really once we're finished here, look up Katy Perry blackface shoes.
Damn.
It's quite funny, really. I mean, you can kind of see it, but on the other hand, you go, well, you'd probably only spot it if you're looking for it.
Which is everything in life. You see, so I just think that Robert De Niro's character was just outraged by human beings. Well, this is again referring back to him being dropped off by E.T., his family. He just a lot about humans, people, society. A lot of it just really grind his gears, and I think he just was disgusted with everything around him, really. And I don't think it was racial at all. I just think it was cultural. I mean, when the elected president to be was in his cab, he explains that it's like a sewer. I just want you to clean it up. You just gotta clean it up. You know, it just didn't like everybody. You know, I think he was attracted to vulnerable people, and I don't say attracted as in like sexually. He was attracted because he felt like he protect them, and that's where I stand on that. I don't think it was just that at all.
I don't know if it was like an attempt to what New York was like as well, because it was a very different city back then before it basically kind of sorted it, which probably had a fair amount to do with Donald Trump, believe it or not.
Damn.
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 But no, I mean, there's going back to the racism thing. There is certainly racist content in it, but it's not. It's not there because it's not normalising it. It's still supposed to be shocking.
Yeah.
Do you know? And again, it's probably just people looking to make something mean more than it actually does.
That's not like anybody to do that kind of thing.
Snow fucking flakes.
So on the whole, right, where did you see the movie going, and when did you start to figure that out on the first time you watched it?
Start to figure what out.
Well, when you watched the movie, you obviously the movie, as we've already discussed, was a bit of a character development for Robert De Niro's character. So rather than the movie being a movie set around many characters, I mean you're in the perspective of Robert De Niro's character. So for me, when I was first watching it, I'm like, right, so what is this about? And as I'm watching, I'm like, right, where are we going with this? And then when I seen, right, this is his decay and crazy shoot up. Yeah, this is his transition from semi-normal. I mean, I'm sure they had that as normal, but for me it was like semi. I wouldn't even use the word normal, right? But for yourself, when you watch a movie, you always, within the first 20 minutes, you start to suss. Right, I see where this is. If it's a love story, he's going to fall in love. They're going to fall out. They'll get back together at the end. That kind of thing. For me,
well, I think it's one of these films that even if you haven't seen it, because it's got such a huge place in pop culture, you know what it's about anyway. You know that it's basically going to be about this taxi driver that goes a bit mental, and that's. Sorry, I don't want to offend anybody with mental health issues. Let's call it sanely challenged. Will we go with that?
Sanely challenged.
Sanely challenged. Or fucking normal deficient.
Normal. I like that. Normal deficient. Yeah.
That guy's got a serious deficiency of normal.
For me, it kind of sucked because I wanted to enjoy it more than I did. I think it had the makings, like when you describe Taxi Driver, or if you read a little synopsis about what Taxi Driver's about, like you said, it could have been the Halloween for Taxi. I think it had a lot of potential. What do you feel, other than what you've already explained about some of the characters that could have been? What do you feel could have been added to this movie in order to make it
just a bit more story as to why he actually ended up in that state? Because all it really is him at the start as a kind of lonely-ish guy, and then all of a sudden he's like, I'm just going to start killing people. And there's no gradual progression. It's just all of a sudden I'm fucking nuts. And it needed more than that for me. If the film had to be longer to kind of put more into the reason that, like, if anybody can look at the world and the place that they live in and think it's terrible and see awful shit happening all the time, but you don't immediately go from that to Travis Bickle stage. And I think it could have done with more of that. It could have done with less of the child prostitute thing. Less fucking saxophone.
I think it could have done with a bit of a, like, he didn't lose anything to that we're aware. Like, had he maybe had a daughter or a wife or a girlfriend or a brother, and in the New York area, one of his family members heads to a local shop to get some cornbread and ends up getting stabbed or something like that, just to plant the seed of a change. Yeah. But really all he done was, I suppose he drove a taxi at night and he saw it all. He was one of the only drivers that done that in the taxi rank.
I'm going to compare it again to Falling Down. Have you seen Falling Down?
I haven't.
You haven't? Right. Well, the storyline behind Falling Down is kind of similar. Michael Douglas, I think he's a banker or something, and he's basically, it starts off, he's sitting in traffic in LA, and it's a hot day, his air conditioning isn't working in the car, people are arguing in the cars round about him, and honestly, that scene in that film is so well put together that I felt myself wanting to kill people. It's so well cut, and like you see it like close up, see him kind of rubbing the sweat off the back of his neck, and it's like you actually feel as uncomfortable as you can imagine he is sitting in like Los Angeles weather in a car with no aircon, sitting in traffic, smelling the fumes, and like there's flies in his car, and like I said, there's people arguing. Then there's some Mexicans kicking about, and he's just like, nah, fuck Mexicans, and it's just his in that film, it didn't need the explanation as to why he got there. It's like, I could imagine in that moment me going from a normal guy to fucking
Yeah, I get you.
But that's because that was done well by Joel fucking Schumacher, who might be one
Joel
of the worst
Schumacher.
one of the worst
Oh,
filmmakers
man.
in history.
I don't know. Like
Awful.
he made one of the
he's
classics.
awful.
He made a classic for me.
If it was one of the Batman films, I'm going to slap you in the
It
face.
wasn't. It wasn't the Batman.
What one?
Come on. There's people listening to this podcast right now going, "Who the hell's Joel Schumacher?" And then there's people sitting going, "Yeah, burn rubber." Yeah, that's a quote from a movie. My favourite Joel Schumacher. Come on. You maggots. You're eating maggots, David. No, Michael. How do they taste?
So Lost Boys. Yeah, I forgot that.
Yeah, come on.
I don't know, man. I think that
You
film
can
gets a bit
forgive
more-
anything Joel Schumacher has done for the Lost Boys.
Gets a bit more credit than it's due, man. Really.
No, it doesn't.
It's-
Oh my god, is this going to be a debate on another show?
This could very well be on another show. I don't
Mate.
think it's a bad film. I just don't think it's the best fucking 80s vampire film.
It is.
It's not.
It is.
It's not.
Name a better 80s vampire film than The Lost Boys.
We'll do this on something that's not the Taxi Driver deep dive.
Aye. By the way, this is getting taken to the Jibber Jabber community, and that's a question getting asked, right? And this just might have to be a debate, even just a wee mini episode, a bonus episode. But we'll return to that.
Like I said, though, I don't think it's a bad film. I just think it's not as good as it shouldn't be on the pedestal that it's on. My favourite film by Joel Schumacher is probably Phone Booth. I really liked Phone Booth.
It's a smart movie.
Aye, I like that.
Why are we talking about just...
You brought up Joel Schumacher.
Yeah, falling down. So, Falling Down worked with what it had, and Taxi Driver didn't. And I just think that it seemed rushed to me. I don't know, it felt like Scorsese maybe wrote it in a week and then filmed it over the space of maybe 10, 15, 20 days. And I don't know, man. It was just a dirty feeling film, and I got no pleasure for it whatsoever.
Well, I am actually a fan of Scorsese's in regards to some of the better movies he's done along those lines. So when I watched that, I was really surprised. It was pish. I was like, what? He just maybe hadn't found his footing. I mean, I imagine it to be in like going back and listening to the very first Jibber Jabber episode, or what we'd previously done before Jibber Jabber. And I imagine it to where we're kind of, everybody has to start owning their craft. I think this, for me, was one of the ones that clearly displays his amateur storytelling in its early days. But again, it still queries me how so many people are revering that.
It did have some kind of half-inventive kind of cinematography at bits. It was mainly just he was driving the taxi, whole shots with the camera stuck onto the wing of the car and stuff like that. Just like pictures of the wing mirror. That was quite new for the time. But there was the shootout at the end. I don't know if it was just me, if I was tired, or if my eyes were going funny, but I swear to God, it was going from slow motion to normal, back to slow motion within one shot, and it just looked fucking stupid. And that's the best bit of the film too, and they couldn't even get that right. I don't know. It just it gets held in far too high a regard for what it actually is.
Do you know?
If they made
I think we agree.
I think if they made it now, it'd be straight into the DD bargain bin.
Yeah, and it would be panned.
It'd be called Uber.
I think it's funny that we both have the same opinion, and yet we're such big movie fans that usually if something's deemed a classic, we would tend to agree that it was a classic and it is a classic and we really enjoyed it. But it's mad that we both actually have the same feeling about the classic as each other, which is crazy.
Absolutely, and it's no because before anybody jumps on us and says, "Oh, it's just because it's an older film," blah blah blah. Yous are too young. Bullshit. I watched Escape from Alcatraz the other night. That was amazing. Loved it.
Hey,
That.
you know what I watched the other day? The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
And what did you think of that?
I thought my TV was out of sync with the sound, and then I realised it was dubbed.
Aye,
Love it.
it was
Love it.
it was
It's so much
dubbed.
fun.
It was dubbed, but also back because of the equipment that they had, basically they recorded everything with no sound. So they basically videoed everything with no sound and added all the sound down later, all of it. So even Clint Eastwood you look at Clint Eastwood, he's dubbed in it by himself
Yeah.
because all the sound is added in later. The Bruce Lee films were all done like that as well.
I thought it was awesome. I loved that, and that's an old film. And I went through it going, this is annoying that they're all dubbed, and but it didn't actually bother me. I didn't find myself being bothered by the movie because the substance was there. I enjoyed it. I mean, that's something we should maybe deep dive at some point, but I really enjoyed that. Even the music, the sounds. Dude, it was just awesome. But yeah, they can't actually tell us we don't like it because it's an older film. We have a taste for older films, hence the deep dive. The theme of the deep dive so far has been older movies, hasn't it?
What was the first one we did? What was
Schindler's
the
List.
first deep dive we did? Schindler's List.
Uh-huh.
So classic. Then we did Joe Black. A bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Taxi Driver's the oldest one that we've done, but we could certainly. But that'll be up to the Jibber Jabber. So.
I'm so fucking loaded, boy.
So I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to add about Taxi Driver. I really don't think there is. I think I've said everything I've got to say about it. Wouldn't recommend it. If you want to ruin your Saturday night, go get it.
Yeah, it's like 2 hours long. Again, usually my wife.
Maybe if it had the Scorsese treatment and it was a 3-hour film or like 2.5 hours, maybe it would have been better. They could have kind of delved into his mindset a wee bit more.
Yeah.
Like you compare it to something like Casino or Goodfellas. Goodfellas is a fucking masterpiece.
Oh, mate, don't even get me started on Goodfellas. Hey, today, I'm getting made today. Is this what it was like when you get... Oh, fuck! And De Niro was good in Goodfellas also.
Mate, I watched something yesterday that reminded me of how good De Niro was, and it was Men of Honor.
That was great. That was with Cuba Gooding Jr.
Aye, and Robert Downey Jr. was fucking brilliant in that. If you want to talk about racism, that film was brilliant.
I was just about to follow on that. I'm like, De Niro was definitely racist in that one.
Come on, Cookie.
Yeah, absolutely. No disagreement. But yeah, like I said, for me, that one's not. We're gonna conclude Taxi Driver as something you probably might want to watch just to kind of see what you can take away from it. But I wouldn't go into it with your wife or significant partner, otherwise, or fucking extraterrestrial.
You'd be better off taking it to a porno.
Well, absolutely. But usually my wife is a good gauge on what's the mainstream of a decent movie. And if she's hooked on it, if she likes it, then I can say, right, the majority of people are, because she speaks the majority. And I wouldn't recommend sitting as a couple.
So we're going to finish this the way that we normally do, with a memorable scene, a memorable quote, and then what we'd give it out of 5 stars. So what was your memorable scene, Kevin?
Oh, I'm loving this role reversal. So my memorable scene was the buying popcorn in a fucking cinema that's there for fucking jacking off. And it's not memorable because I fucking enjoyed it. It's memorable because it's all I can think about halfway through the movie as I'm watching on, still going, who the fuck actually sells popcorn and refreshments at a fucking at a jizz place? Like, why?
Tell you what, man, they'd save money on salt.
Oh, sake. I just thought, again, if I ever went to an adult cinema screening of a porn movie, I can't see me, sitting there with a Coke, a box of popcorn, and just
Not chosen that.
Okay. Quiet, chill. I hate when they talk during the movie. Ridiculous. What was your memorable scene?
Other than the shootout, which we discussed anyway, I liked the thing with the $20 bill.
Mm-hmm.
That was quite good. It was like one thing that you wonder, what happened to that $20 bill, and then it shows up. You're like, okay, right, that was relative. That was relatively clever. Yeah, so credit where credit's due. There was a $20 bill in the film. Well done.
Yeah, it was crumpled. It was there.
Aye, crumpled. Yeah. And memorable quote.
For me, you talking to me.
Aye.
It's probably the only thing that I saw in the movie and was like, oh, I've seen this being done before. That's what this. So for me, it was a quote that's.
But mine was the same, because there's fucking nothing else memorable.
Nothing worth quoting.
There really isn't.
Can I take you to see a film, son?
Actually, one thing I forgot to mention was the narration that Travis Bickle's given through the film. Fucking useless, pointless, does not drive the story forward whatsoever. No, we didn't need it. It was just incoherent, babbling shite, and there was no need for it. So, yeah, I forgot to mention that, so enjoy that wee nugget. And out of five stars, I gave this 2.
Oh, nice. 1.5
And
from me.
Yeah, I was being generous, and it was simply because the acting in it was actually pretty decent by
Yeah.
some people.
Yep. Absolutely. Jodie Foster being.
Jodie Foster, Peter Boyle, and the other guy I mentioned, Albert Brooks.
Yeah.
So even like I said, Sybil Shepherd was quite bland. She was nice to look at, but nah, no substance there.
Here's a wee bonus question upon closing. At the very end, after he's out the coma now after shooting up everybody and getting completely away with it, and he's revered in the newspapers as a hero. And Sybil Shepherd ends up in the back of his taxi. And he stops outside the house. She gets out. She stands in front of her door, turns back and looks at him and says his name. Did you think he was going to get out of that car, take her up to her house and bow chicka wacka wacka?
With how bad the rest of the ending was, it wouldn't have fucking surprised me.
No, but would it not make more sense for him to have actually left and went into the house with her, because she clearly is interested, and instead he just drives away? It's like, well, that makes no fucking sense. What was the point?
Maybe he knows in himself that he's bad for her. It could be something as kind of basic as that.
Or maybe he's disgusted by it.
Mate, the fact he shouldn't have got his fucking taxi license back.
That's true.
Yeah, so that is pretty much the deep dive on Taxi Driver, because I actually had, this is the most notes I've taken for any deep dive so far.
Yeah.
But I think the reason I had to take so many notes was because nothing was as memorable in this film for me as any other film we've watched. So nothing was just in here. I literally had to take notes on everything. So I've got more notes, but I've probably not spoken as much about stuff as I have for previous ones. So it's a shame, because it should have been good. Could have been good. It was a wasted opportunity, I think.
Agreed. It's just one of those. So this happens to be the first deep dive that we've not actually came on here, and it's amazing. Schindler's List moved you to tears. We took away some really golden nuggets from Joe Black. Taxi Driver for us just happens to be the first, and I'll just represent this to you in audio form. I hope that comes across.
I'll definitely give you that one. Hopefully the next deep dive we do should be a good one. I think we said on the last one that we were going to do The Hunt.
Yes. So we're not letting them. We're not letting.
No,
maybe,
not for this one.
Maybe it should come up with a stipulation.
Maybe we give them 3 options for the next one.
Yes. Or we could offer it up to the Jibber Jabber to say. So the next one is The Hunt. Your options are: we watch The Hunt and do a Jibber Jabber, live stream us watching The Hunt, and then you tune in for the Jibber Jabber. I don't know, just something extra to give them.
We'll figure something out. So
yeah.
we will do a Jibber Jabber at some point in the next few days or so, hopefully.
Absolutely.
And then it'll be another deep dive next week.
Yes, and hopefully soon we'll have some good news to share with you, depending on how the wind blows.
Yes, we shall see how that pans out. You have
Maybe.
no idea what we're talking about right now.
Yeah, but maybe in an episode or two you might, depending on how the wind blows. But we always have something up our sleeve, so if you're listening to taking that journey with us, the journey is only going to get a bit more turbulent.
Fabulous.
Fabulous! So that concludes our Jibber Jabber deep dive. I've got to say, I'm really enjoying these.
Oh, it's great.
You know, it's actually, part of me is even like, man, we should just deep dive, but the actual Jibber Jabber podcast show has value to us too, and we enjoy just an old Jibber Jabber, you know what I mean, you know what I mean. So yeah, we're actually loving doing these Jibber Jabbers, and I'm going to actually say it, you guys are actually tuning in. Like, unexpectedly, you guys are actually tuning in, because I'm looking at the stats and they're really good, probably the best they've been on any podcast that I've done to date. We're actually starting to really get the wheels moving, so thank you for tuning in, and if you are enjoying it, please stick around. If you've got things you'd like to hear more on the show, things that you would want to request us to do, you know where we're at. We plug our shit every week, every day almost. So get in contact with us, offer your feedback, and it's been really great. We've got a lot in the pipeline potentially for 2019. Been a bit of a rocky start with me being unemployed at the current this current moment in time, but that shan't be like that for too long. Remember, I was made redundant. I was not fired, and I didn't just quit my job. I was made redundant. I am the victim. Thank you very much.
On that note, if you would like to support the podcast, then just go to PayPal. Nah, we're not there yet. I was going to say, if you want a wee shout out or something on the podcast, just give us a wee message on the community page. We'll give you a wee shout out and stuff. So
you can actually email us. We have an actual official email, which is jibberjabberscotland@gmail.com. Send emails to us if you want us to read something out, questions or whatever. Then on the actual Jibber Jabber podcast, not the deep dive, we will answer your questions on the show.
We also have a phone number. Our phone number is 01111 111 112. Did you see that coming, did you?
Or our pager number was it 555-0123? What movie is that from?
555-0123. Oh God, man, you're testing me.
Come on.
555-0123. Give me a clue. Phone.
Eroding.
Is that Bruce Almighty?
It is Bruce Almighty.
Fuck me, that's sad.
This one he's getting paged continuously. 555-0123. Is your name Bruce?
So, let's end it there. So on that note, back to you, fuckers.
Bruce, you're fired. So make sure to check us out on social media: YouTube, Facebook, Jibber Jabber Community, Jibber Jabber Facebook, Jibber Jabber on Instagram, Twitter. You'll see us. It's that little picture of us. You can get all our links in the description to this podcast, wherever you may be listening. Apple Podcasts, Podomatic, and you can still find all our old shaz on Podbean because we recently moved. We're not hard to find, and if you're listening to us, you found us. So make sure to subscribe, tell your friends, and even if you want to leave us a little review, wire in, let us know what you think. And thank you very much again this week for listening to the Jibber Jabber Deep Dive. Anything to add on the outro, Jordan?
No. We'll see you in a few days, and we won't be back after this!
Oh, fuck you.
I'm trying my best to hold it in. Shagging! Fuck off! Sorry. Sorry.
Work is a 10-minute walk away from his home.
Hey! Fuck off! When we're together, we feel some kind of harmony. You know, there's a connection somewhere. Filthy fags!
John's Tourette weekend gets underway with a relaxation session.
Picture in your mind a beautiful green field.
I'm up to my knees in fucking cow part.
Is there a wind? And when you're ready, if you get up from the recliner.
Johnny Davidson!
Hi, hello, I'm Heather from Citizens Advice Bureau in Shields. That actually helped at all.
Fuck off, nosy.
Absolutely. And we sound as advisors like we're asking really nosy questions. Okay.
Chopper dyed his pubes
I'm
ginger.
just going through the list. Don't shoot the messenger.
He dyed his pubes ginger.
The next one is propriety of behaviour with other people. This person would be expected to tolerate the behaviour.
Fuck off!
Quite. That's not a very good wording for it. But there is somebody who's actually
Your
sat
dogs
down
get tats.
in the law and thought it through at last. And I'll leave that with you so that you can have a look at it.
You're very helpful.
Then there's more on. Did you mean it or not? That's the dealing with it. So I'll leave. That's how the points work now, and they are better than the old points. Everyone on incapacity benefit is going to be moved on.
You've got Tourette's by proxy now.
15 points for speech can't be understood by strangers. Absolutely. You get 9 points for strangers have great difficulty understanding speech.
Pakistanis and Iraqis.
You get...
I get stabby with knives.
Yeah.
In the kitchen. Somebody's walking past.
It's a really difficult call, though, because it's arguable that benefits-wise, you should be getting the maximum benefits, because at any given moment, you might need a minder. But you might not...
Arthur Daly!
Quite right. But...
It's a Jap's eye. Where some of the ticks come from, eh?
If he could meet somebody who could look beyond the Tourette's symptoms,
that he would be able to find somebody that he could kind of get on with and settle down with.
Another gay man. There are also some positives that we can have a laugh about, especially when we're having pub quizzes and stuff at the centre. Something like playing charades. I'm never ever the person that stands up and has to act out what film it is or whatever, because I can't keep it to myself. You know, I'll stand up and I'll say, Jaws! And I'll go, right, that's my turn over. Oil on the road. Gonna crash! Hey! Border between England and Ireland. Yay, we're here. We're arrived. At last.
I'm a chicken.
I'm a chicken fucker. When I'm feeling down and I'm feeling a bit shite and a bit sorry for myself, I do stop myself and think, well, look what I've achieved. I've got my house, I've got my garden that I love. I've got my job, I've got my dog. And I think really, to be honest with you, I think I've actually got a good quality of life, really. It's a Jap's eye.